Ani and good day. My name is Adele Loosemore and I'm a Treaty Indian from Shebonening. My community is at the entrance to the North Channel of Georgian Bay on Lake Huron. And I put a white dot on the map below me to show where we're located. In December 1992, the Sudbury Star newspaper published a story about my community's custom of going into the bush and picking princess pines to make decorations for the church at Christmas time. If you've never seen a princess pine, this is what they look like. And this is what a net mending needle looks like. It might surprise you to find out that the tying of the greens and our history as a fishing village came together in this one tradition. The article begins by explaining that our community was an isolated fishing village for many years, how we had no electricity until 1951 and no road access until 1962. Every fall, people would go into the bush and pick princess pines, bags of them. They would be tied into garlands and wreaths for decorating St. Bonaventure's Church. The Star's reporter was invited to the place where the greens were being tied. Delvina Pankey was there. She's the lady wearing glasses in this photo. The other lady is Dorothy Hoyland, another person who also loved to be involved in community events. Delvina said to the reporter, "I was born in 1910, and I remember when I was 10 my mother made me pick the pines and help tie the greens." She also said that when St. Bonaventure's Church was being constructed in 1950, hooks for the greens were put into the walls. That's how ingrained that tradition was in Killarney. Delvina also said there was a knack to the way the greens were tied. Joe Delmorandiere, pictured on the left, was also there, and he remarked that back in those days there were a hell of a lot of women at home mending nets, so they knew how to make those half-hitch knots. Joe mentions this because for many years it was fishing that kept our community alive, and the net mending that women became proficient at was essential to keeping the nets in top shape. Many of these women who mended nets also tied the greens, and they used net mending needles to do it. Here's that needle that I showed you at the start of the video. Using one makes it easier to maneuver the string around those greens and tie them to a rope. In this 1992 story, the Sudbury Star said that about 350 feet of garland and 5 stars were made to decorate the church. The church we had before St. Bonaventure's is pictured here. It was built in 1885 and called St. Joseph's Church. During its time, it was also common for St. Joseph's to be decorated with greens, and not just at Christmas time. In this photo, an arch has been constructed in front of the church and covered with greens, probably for a Corpus Christi celebration. On the left is the bishop, and on the right is Father Paquin, a Jesuit missionary who served our community. Here's a photo of a concert in the old parish hall, and hanging on the wall behind those girls, those garlands made of greens. Back to the 1992 story. This photo shows Agnes de la Morandiere holding part of a garland. I believe this photo of the inside of our present church, St. Bonaventure's, was taken during the dedication ceremony in 1951. I wanted to give you an idea about how high that arch is that leads to the main altar, in comparison to the height of the people. Because the garlands in that area were hung above the arch. The photo on the left is from the newspaper article. One of our volunteer firefighters. They put up the garlands of greens. The decorating of the church was accomplished through the efforts of many people. Here's a picture of one of the side altars with a nativity scene, little trees, a wreath made of greens, and you can see part of the garland across the top of the windows. This one shows two of the stars and several wreaths on the wall behind the altar. Then there's the garland that hung above the arch and down the side walls of the building, above the windows. Tying the greens was something that went on here for well over a century. We no longer gather together to make garlands hundreds of feet long to hang in the church, but those greens can still brighten our homes at Christmas time. I hope you enjoyed hearing about this tradition, and I wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season.